Welcome, welcome.
Welcome back, Queen Debbie.
Oh, thank you, Dr. T. I can hear your voice. All the beautiful
All
faces
right,
of our
you take it away.
ambassadors. Brother Alfred, thank you
Wonderful,
so much. I hope the
Queen
baby is
Debbie.
doing well. Thank you very much. Thank you. Greetings, everyone. Hello, Dr. Derek. I know you're here because I can
Peace,
see you,
blessings,
Dr.
enough
P,
love.
Dr. D. Thank you, Dr. Derek. How are you?
Blessed and fantabulously flavored at the door do couple top.
Those tops, I lost count, but I'm glad you're still working on it and updating us as well.
All right, you can start.
Thank you. All right. If you are ready, it's time for us to start. Greetings, everyone. Oh, I see a lot of our beautiful faces in the house. This is great. Good evening, good night, good morning. Greetings to all our global ambassadors. Today is Tuesday, October 10th, 2023, and this is Globally Changing Lives Deep Dive webinar. And we're honored to have you joining us today. We're starting our webinar at this time with our signature tune that we're, that we're going to call on our only brother, Dr. Derek Clark, to play for us. And this song is In It to Win It by Sister Lerato Shadare. And please, we call on you to watch the nonverbal communication aspect of the music because it's going to show us where we are in our journey on passive, and Dr. Derek does that best for us. So please pay great attention to the non-verbal communication images of In It to Win It by Lerato Shadari. Over to you, Dr. Derek, and thank you. got that one off. It's me. I thought it was this. But where the put it on? I didn't hear that. The internet. Maya, what are you doing, baby? Thank you very much, Dr. Derek. Thank you very much, Dr. Derek, and thank you, Dr. John, for reminding me. I thought I unmuted myself. Uh, did we see the images of O Connect with our COO and all the others, Dr. John and the rest? That's O Connect, our train station, and all the other people who are in the unpassive ecosystem. I mean, in the unpassive company. Thank you very much, Dr. Derek, and thank you, Sister Larato. Okay, we're moving to the next step of the webinar, which is the mindset. And it is affected by two things. The physical, which we all know of, and that one is provided to us by our CEO. And the other part of it is mental, and the mental mindset will be provided to us by our one and only Queen, Dr. T, and we know who she is. And for today's mindset, she's going to share with us the 12 signs that will tell you that you are a natural born leader who influences others that are around you. And briefly, Dr. T, as we all know, she is an international transformational speaker. She's a life coach, an empowerment trainer, a former talk show host, Dr. T is an educator and also an author of 4 books. We know what those 4 books are, but during the course of the webinar, we're going to put the titles and the links to access them on the chat so you can look up and help yourself. But let's call on her as she's going to grace us with her presence and share the 12 signs that you are a natural born leader, that you influence those who are around us. Come on, Sister Queen Dr. T. Honored to have you.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Same to you.
Good morning, everyone. How's
Oh, good
everyone
morning.
doing?
Yeah, good morning to me. Oh, good evening, whichever.
Wherever you are in the world, this is the day, the evening, the afternoon that God has made. And we are rejoicing and we are glad in it. Thumbs up. Anybody agree? 2 thumbs up. I know Dr. Benny's doing 2 thumbs up. I can't see her, but I know she's doing 2 thumbs up. Thank you, Dr. Benny. Anyway, I'm excited to be with you all tonight, or this morning, good afternoon. And I want to share with you a very, very impactful message. Now, the topic says 12 signs that you are a natural born leader who influences others around you. But for the sake of time, because I am not the only speaker, this is the part 1 of 2. All right, so this is part 1. I'm going to share with you 6 of the signs today. And next week, if God be willing, I'm still here with you, I'm going to share the other 6. But I want to let you know that this is an exciting time to be here today. It doesn't matter what's going on all over the world. We see the tragedies. You know, I pray for Israel and all the things that are going over there. We need to all be praying for Israel and just believing God that that problem will be resolved. It's going to take some time for them to get back on their feet and get things back to whatever their new normal is going to be. But we know that those of us who know the Bible, we know that they are God's chosen people. And all is going to be well. God will vindicate them. But in the meantime, we have to play our role in making our contribution to make this world a better place so that people like those who are oppressors over there, not only the oppressors over there, but what's going on in Ukraine, what's going on in other parts of the world, of people who are evil, we cannot play that role. We have to play a role where we have an impact, a positive impact in this world. So I want to start this message off by giving you a little testimony. Many years ago, I remember I was in my church and the pastor asked a question of the congregation. He said to us, how many of you believe that you are called to be a world changer, to make an impact in the world? And I put my hand up because I knew that. I knew that God had called me, Tanisha Ann Ford, to make an impact, to be a world changer. So he started a class called The Making of a Leader. That's a very, very important. Remember that, the making of a leader. So when I chose this topic tonight, so when I chose it early in the week, but when I chose this topic to give you all tonight, I thought about that, the making of a leader. Oftentimes we are experiencing people who are in the leadership position, but are they really leaders? Have you ever asked yourself, what does a leader, a real leader, look like? What are the attributes, the personality and characteristics of a real leader? That's number 1 question. Second question I want you to ask yourself, are you a leader? Those of you who are on passive leaders, those of you who are on part of on passive, ask yourself, are you leaders? Has God called you to lead? Has God called you to be a positive influencer? When we go through these signs, I want you to ask yourself, is that me? Say, is that me? Because when I read this and when I began to put this together, I had to ask myself, do I have all of these characteristics? Most of them I believe I do. Some of them I have to work on. Some of them I'm not good at all. Maybe it's just not on my plate right now. And that may be true for all of you. Because a lot of times when we look at a leader, oftentimes we look at leaders who are, maybe because they're tall in stature, they may be very well educated, they may be very attractive people, they may be smart, they may have good ideals. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they are people of good influence. It doesn't mean that they have the characteristics of being a good leader. So tonight I want to share with you the signs. 12 signs, but we're going to just cover 6 for the time, because of our time's sake. We're going to cover 6. I want to share with you 6 signs of a natural born leader who influences others around you. And I want you to ask yourself that question again. Is that you? And as you begin to listen to these signs, I want you to begin to examine yourself, because our goal as Unpathfians is to be positive influencers. While you're on this platform, I know that Dr. Derek has worked very, very hard to make sure the people who are making presentations, those who he invites to present, those who he invites to share and give out knowledge, he knows these are people of character. He believes they are people of character. And he knows that they have a lifestyle that he wants us to pass on to you. I'm not saying that we've arrived. No, we have not arrived in every area, because we're human. We fall short. We have flaws. But one thing we all have in common is that we want to transform your lives. We all want to influence you all to go to the next level and be the best person that you all can be. And I know that is Dr. Derek's goal. That is his vision. That's his vision for Unpassive. That's his vision for those of you who are on Deep Dive in the Dream Team. That's his vision. So all I want to do all to be your best selves, to be your authentic selves. So let me share with you now 6 of the 12 signs that will show you that you are a natural born leader. And again, if that's not you yet, that's okay, because we're here to work on those areas. So the first sign that you are a natural born leader who influences others around you is you're easily influenced. That's number 1. You're not easily influenced. You have your own mind, and you're not swayed by what other people are doing or saying. It doesn't make any difference if somebody's going to the left or the right. Whatever it is, you might just be the one who stands still. Okay, you may be the one who's going to say, I don't want to be with the popular opinion. Whatever that may be, you're not going to go around and be, because somebody else is doing something over here, over there. You're going to stand firm, because you're not easily influenced, because you know that you're going to do what's right, because you know who you are. You know your authentic self. So therefore, you are not going to be easily influenced by what's going on around you, what others are saying, what others are doing. And this is a true sign of a person who is a natural born leader who is going to influence others around them. The second one is you handle criticism well. That's something everybody can't do, because for the most part, you already know this. We don't want to be criticized. We want our ego stroked. We want people to tell us how wonderful we are, how fabulous we are. When somebody starts pointing out our faults, then we get our feathers all ruffled up. We know that. My father used to always tell me, he said, Tanishai, if somebody accuses you of something or says something about you that's not true, he said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But if it is true, examine yourself and do something about it. Do something about it. Learn from criticism. You know, it's the difference between constructive criticism and destructive criticism. And you should be able to discern whether someone is just being malicious or whether somebody is trying to help you. But everybody should be willing to change. So if there's something that's pointed out to you and you can see that it's not right, especially if somebody's telling you the same thing over and over again, and not just that one person, but others are telling you, you're kind of self-centered. You're kind of arrogant. You don't know how to listen, whatever that might be. Listen. It doesn't mean that you have to be offended by that. Okay, I'm not saying that every time somebody says something is right. But if you're always hearing the same thing over again, then maybe you should take note and say, okay, let me look in the mirror and examine myself. And I think a person that can take criticism well, that without holding a grudge, that's a person that others should want to follow. That's someone that has a positive influence on others, because if you can take criticism well, that means that you're ready to lead. Because every leader has to grow in some area. You didn't come into the world perfect. You didn't come into this role perfect. And if you're willing to grow, and if you're willing to change, that means that you are a leader and that you will be a positive influencer of others. Number three, and I want this to go to Dr. Benny, because I thought about this, because I know how she is, and it's a very good quality to have. You're not afraid to speak your mind. A really good natural born leader is not afraid to speak their mind. What's on your heart? What are your convictions? But remember, you want to respectfully, that's the key word. You want to respectfully speak your mind. I'm not talking about being haughty or being cruel or always being opinionated, always having something to say about everything, because everything is not your battle. It doesn't mean you have to have an opinion about everything. But if something is part of your conviction, part of your core values, and you speak your heart on it, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. That's a positive quality to have. Most people should have that. Most people who want to lead and they're going to be influencers, they're not going to be afraid to speak their mind. But remember, the key word is being respectful about it. Using your goal and your objective is not to hurt people, but to do what? To transform and uplift people. And if by speaking your mind can help someone make a mind change, mindset, paradigm shift, then that's a good thing. That's a great quality to have. So number three, again, is you're not afraid to speak your mind because you have conviction, but you're going to respectfully do it. You're going to take everybody's feelings, and you're going to take people's feelings in consideration, because again, your intention is not to be cruel. But if someone gets hurt in the interim, then that means that they have an issue, and that's for them to grow, and that's for them to look in the mirror and examine themselves. So again, number three, you're not afraid to speak your mind. Number four, and this is so important. Number four, you're a great listener. If you're somebody who truly listens when others speak, rather than always trying to rush and get your opinion in and what you have to say, and you know how that is. Have you ever been in a situation where you're talking to someone, and before you even finish your sentence, they want to put their little opinion, they want to put their little 2 cents in. They're not even listening to you. All they want to do is hear themselves talk. And I'm pretty sure all of us know people like that. You're trying to express yourself, you're pouring out your heart and telling them how you feel and expressing yourself, and they're sitting there nodding off, or they're doing something different, and then when it's their time to speak, they want you to give them their undivided attention. When a person takes the time to listen, it shows that they are empathetic and they're understanding. They're empathetic and they're understanding. And who would not want to follow someone like that? Who would not want to be around a person who cares about what they feel, how they feel, and what they're thinking, and what's on their hearts? So again, number four, you're a great listener. That makes you an influencer. Those are signs of being a good leader. Everyone wants to know that what they feel, how they feel, and what they think is important. Whether it is or not to you, it doesn't matter. What it matters is that you make that person feel like they're 10 feet tall. Because you never know, one day the tables may turn and you may need someone to listen to you. So always keep that in mind. When you are leading, when you are called to be a leader, when you are called to be an influencer, you must be a great listener. Because your role is to command. Your role is to be a powerful influencer. And being a good listener is a quality that you must have. Number five, you exude calmness even in chaos. In the middle of chaos, you're someone who manages to stay calm and composed. You're someone who manages to stay calm and composed. I promise you, if I'm in a fire or if I'm in a situation where everything is chaotic, I want to be around somebody who's going to say, okay, I'm going to take attention right now. I want your attention. Listen to me. Stay calm. Take a deep breath. Because what you do is you're calming the atmosphere. If everybody's all over the place, running around screaming, you're not getting anything done. You can't listen. You can't think. You can't do. It's just like if somebody is drowning. You all know how that is. If somebody is drowning, a person who's trying to rescue you, what do they tell you? Calm down. Don't panic. Just flow. Let yourself be relaxed. Because the person who's trying to rescue you, they're the person who's being calm. They're the ones who are composed. They're trying to help somebody who's in a chaotic situation. So if you're leading, you're a person who knows how to be calm, even in the eye of the storm. You're the commander in chief. You want people like that, people who are like that, people want to follow them because they know that you are going to lead them to safety. They know that by you being in charge, everything is going to be all right. And it will be all right. Why? Because you know how to handle when things are getting chaotic. You know how to think, because when you're in a chaotic situation, you know how to think. You calm the atmosphere, and you allow others to get to safety, or you allow things to get to a place where there is a peace at the end of the tunnel. And that's why that is a very good characteristic to have when you are influencing other people. So you want to be a person that exudes calmness, even in chaos. And the last, people look up to problem solvers. They love them. Have you ever noticed that? When you have a job, okay, what do? They say, call so-and-so. They'll have the answer. And that's so true. When you are a problem solver, you like the challenge. You're up for the challenge. You have no problem with assessing the situation and coming up with a solution. You're the person who sees the glass half full, not half empty. You're the person that says, I don't care what it is. Let's not discuss the problem. We know the problem. What is the solution? And that's the person that you are. And these characteristics that I'm sharing with you, ladies and gentlemen, if these characteristics are not a part of you right now, again, these are areas that we all want to grow in. I know I do. As I was going through my notes, I said, I want to work on these things. I want to be someone that positively influences others. I think back on that day many, many years ago when my pastor asked the question, do you feel that you want to be a world changer? Do you believe that you were called to be have an impact on the world? And that's all of you. I'm looking at all of you across the screen right now. It's not all of you. I don't see all of you. But all of you who are part of Deep Dive, all of you who are part of Passive, you should desire to be a person of influence. It is not about your stature. It's not about how much money you make. It's not about how smart you are. It's about your personality and your character. Those are the things that make up a leader. There are so many people right now who are leading who have no business being in a leadership position. But we're all called to make a difference. And I believe that each and every one of you who are under the sound of my voice desires to be a person of influence. Not only influence, but positive influence. I believe that every one of you under the sound of my voice desires to be a world changer, to have an impact. I believe that. If you didn't want to be that person, you wouldn't be a part of this platform. You wouldn't be a part of Deep Dive. You would not be a part of the Dream Team. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be a Pasavian. You wouldn't be a part of Mr. Ashmafar's dream and vision. So I believe that all of you want to do that. So please, take the things that I just shared with you into consideration. Take it to heart. Remember, in order for you to be a positive influencer, okay, you want to be a person that's not easily influenced. You want to handle criticism well. You are not afraid to speak your mind, especially when you're doing respectful. Be respectful about speaking your mind. You're a great listener, and you exude calmness even in chaos. And the last one, you are a problem solver. It's not about the problem. You already know the problem. We already know the problem. We can all identify the problems. But are you going to be part of the solution. I believe that when we put these 7 signs into practice and begin to examine ourselves daily, we will find out that there's more about ourselves than we know. And you'll discover that you are the influencer and the leader that God has intended for you to be. Thank you so much for allowing me to share. Part 2 next week. Same time. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. T. Yes, yes.
World changer, influencers, leaders. There you go.
Yes, positive influencers, and you get
yes, positive influencers.
Positive
Got 2
influencers.
next week.
Yep, we got that. We heard it. Part 1 today. We have 6 of those, and we have the second part coming up next week. So stay tuned for next week. But until then, please, if you have any observation from Dr. T's input on positive influencers as a leader, please raise your hand and share before we move to the next item. This is that time. All right. I'll just see if we have any hands up.
You know, we cannot raise our hands up, right? I'm here.
Yes. Proceed.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Hey, Queen Dr. T.
Dr. Benny.
Yeah, man.
Dr. Benny.
You know I'm proud of you, right? Hey, Jesus Christ. Hey. I want to say, first of all, thank you, Queen Debbie, for giving me this opportunity before I start screaming. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Hey, I want to thank our Heavenly Father for bringing Dr. T to all of us.
Heavenly Father,
I know that Dr. T loved our Jehovah God. Jehovah Jireh, Nisi, Rapha, El Shaddai. She knows that. Thank you, Dr. T. I want to thank our Heavenly Father also for bringing our visionary to you and I, because if it wasn't for him, I would not be able to see Dr. T. I will not be able to see Queen JW, Queen Debbie. Hey, man, thank you. Dr. T, I've been thinking about this topic for the longest time when you talk about being a leader. I'm so proud of you because you make me to understand that I tell people who I am, what I want. The reason, there are certain things that we have to say it, and I tell them and they get mad at me, but I just want you to know the truth. The truth must be spoken.
Yes, right.
Being a leader, not only within Passive, but all over the globe. If you are a leader and you have 2 employees that has problem, they are quarreling, do not, as a leader, do not only cite one person or just listen on to one person and say, okay, let me just cite Dr. T because she's my friend. If you do that, you are not a leader.
Right. That's right.
A leader, we need a leader who does not discriminate.
Yes, that's correct.
And I'm saying it because, well, within our company, there is only one leader that I know who doesn't discriminate. And it's our CEO. The discrimination comes with color-wise. I'm saying it point blank. But I want to respect our CEO because he is the best CEO in the whole wide world. He is here to correct corruption, eradicate poverty, and to uplift humanity. There are a lot of things that I want to say about leadership, but I'll be quiet because Dr. John has to say something. Thank you, Dr. T, and thank you, Queen Debbie.
Thank you, Dr. Benny. Thank you, Dr. Benny.
I don't have a hand.
Oh, Queen JW, that's your voice.
Yes, I don't have a hand, but I would like to say something, hopefully.
Please proceed.
All right. Good evening to everyone. 2021. These brand ambassadors, global users. We should be excited. Hey. Anyway, thank you, Dr. Derek, most of all, for this amazing platform. Thank you, Queen Debbie, the host with the most, Dr. Benny, and let me tell you, Dr. T, you always come. You always bring it. You bring exactly what we need.
Thank you.
You know, we need that because we all are leaders.
Yes.
We are our leaders because God called us soldiers. So we are leaders. And he said we are master because he is our master. So we are all equipped. So all these things she's talking about is just some of us have it holding everything within ourselves. And we don't want to open ourselves up to ourselves and much less up to the world. But so these 6, which is 12, these 12 topics, because each of them is a topic of its own.
Yep.
You know, learning to speak our minds. I think learning to speak your mind could start with your parents. That's the first place where you speak your mind. And once you speak your mind there, you good to go. I'm telling you because I know I've done it. and like Dr. T say, in a respectful way, not out of order, because then you have accomplished nothing. You would not have spoken your mind. You would have blown your mind. And being a good listener is so important, you know, especially when people come with you with problems. And you might think it's minor or it's not even that big, but let me tell you, just listening, and when you listen, you're going to hear something, and that something you hear is what's going to help you to help them.
Yes.
So being a listener is an awesome skill and tactic that we all should possess, because when you have children, you got to listen to them. You can't push them away and say, go to bed, I don't want to hear that anymore. No, you got to listen to them, because in turn you're gonna wonder, we do need a tax hike, you know, and he go fast, okay, I'm gonna side with him. No, you got to, whatever, if you stand for righteousness, stay in the lane of righteousness.
There you go.
Don't cross, because once you shake your hand with the devil, you're gonna have to be right there with him. Yeah. All right? And a problem solver. That's what our Ash Mafara is. He's a problem solver. He's solving problems for us, and he's solving problems for himself, and he's solving problems for humanity as a whole. So let's stay excited. Let's be patient, and let's follow these things, implement them. Most of us already got them. We just need, like Dr. T said, we just need to work on some of them where we might find we're not really there, and it's okay, because life is about learning. So thank you so much, Dr. T, and keep bringing it. We love you.
Thank you so much, baby. Thank you so much.
Can I say something, please?
You're welcome.
Dr. Brother Queen Jackie.
Yes,
you made a statement that we are all leaders, or we are all the same. You know that you and I, and it doesn't
yes, I know, and I know exactly some of them. But you know what? I know that I am superior, and no one can be superior than each other, because God made us all equal. You know, and he gave us everything we need equally. So if those who want to think they're more superior than others, they're just showing you who they are, and you know how to deal directly with them.
Thank you. And again, I don't think they are more superior than us, because we all pay $102. They did not pay.
You're sure right.
They didn't pay $250, and I paid just $100.
But right? Let me tell you, row the boat down the memory lane. We all in the same boat. And our CEO already said it. We're all start from the same place. All of us did. No matter, okay, some might make more than others, but that doesn't mean a thing. That don't make them any better. And I know exactly who you're talking about. But that's okay. They will come down off their high horse.
Oh, I love this. I think we need more topic of this leadership. Let me be quiet. Queen Debbie, proceed.
Your grandbaby needs you. Grandbaby number 9 needs you. Sorry, the grandbaby just called on her. That's a lot of fun. That's the unpassive baby. grandbaby number 9 for Queen JW. Thank you, Dr. Benny. Thank you, Dr. T.
Yeah, what is it? The grandbaby.
Queen JW, come back and mute yourself. I forgot to mute herself. All right, it's okay. We're going to proceed. At this stage, we're going to move to the next agenda item, which will be calling on our one and only brother, who is going to talk to us about how to use crypto.
Making all that noise.
And Queen JW, remember to mute yourself, Queen JW.
Let everybody know you here. I'm telling you.
Until if Mama Debbie is
let Dr. Pat mute or Dr.
Yes.
Derek.
Yes, only the host can mute it.
Dr. D or Dr. Pat, can you people mute? Please mute everybody. Then only the people who want to speak can speak.
Okay. Thank you, Engineer Mike. I don't know if you're able to do it.
No, so I'm not the host. Only the hosts can do it. Dr. Pat and Dr. Derek.
Okay. Dr. Derek, can you help us mute everyone? Just mute Queen JW if you're able to locate her. Let me try one thing. I know some time ago I succeeded in doing this. Just give me a few seconds, please.
Mama Debbie, can you call her on the phone to mute herself because we don't have the host?
I know. I'm just trying. Okay, let me call.
Dr. Benny, if you have her number, call her on the phone to mute herself, please. Julie, do you have her number?
I'm looking for it.
No, I'm asking.
Okay, Queen JW is no longer here, so thank you very much, Dr. Derek. Truly appreciate that. Let there be peace, and there was peace. Okay, what an exciting evening. All right, this is the next exciting topic, crypto. Why we're here, right? How to use it. For those of us who do not know, including use it, if you do not, you're in the right place at Ajongwen. And he has a background in chemical and biochemical engineering, and he has an MBA. And he has, for the last couple of years, a decade plus, focused on providing financial literacy to individuals, to share with us his knowledge on how to use the crypto. So please, let's welcome Dr. John Ajongwen. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. John. I know you're in the house. I see you smiling there in your profile.
All right. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. And thank you, Mama McCormick. Thank you. Wow. Dr. T, I sat here and I was just writing some real serious notes here. And then I thought to myself, man, you need to grow up, you know. Thanks for all those nuggets. They're really, really impactful and powerful at the same time. So if we can just, you know, try and address each and every one of them, I'm sure that we're going to be just fine. We are all leaders, and all we need is just a bit of polishing up. And thank you for that mindset of helping us to really polish ourselves. So what I'm going to do is, I think we talked about this topic, some other platform, I'm not sure where, but anyway, we're going to talk about crypto and why. We know that OnPassive has had kind of some issues with the two card processors that we have had to pay for our accounts, and they're working on it. If you have been to your co-founders back office, you would have seen this note from our brother Michael Williams, just telling everybody, you know, do not worry, do not panic. If you cannot pay for activate your O-Connect because you don't have a card, OnPassive is working about it, and the card payment system will be on very, very soon. However, we know that there is the option for people to also be able to pay by crypto, as well as to be able to withdraw funds from our wallets using crypto. So what I want to just do briefly is run through an example of how to actually use the crypto wallets or platforms to activate accounts for those who need it. And I just want to start by recognizing that there are a lot of systems out there, and you may not necessarily need all of them, or people may be aware of some of them. So I want to just touch on some of the general principles for using cryptocurrencies to activate our accounts in OnPassive. Just as, let me say, just to level set everything, I do recognize that some of the platforms that I'm going to share may actually not work in your area. For example, I know that the Binance Global may or may not work, and there may be some other wallets that people have more familiarity with. That is fine, and my hope is that the overall concepts should apply pretty much to all of them. This presentation is going to be in two parts. I'm going to just go through a very high level, and then we would go off YouTube if we're streaming on YouTube, and then we can go into the ecosystem, and I'll run one example of doing an actual payment to demonstrate. So the very first thing you need to do, obviously, is to have your cryptocurrency platform. There are quite a few out there. There's several actually, but what I've just pointing out here are some of those I'm familiar with, which are also some of the bigger ones. So Binance US, for those who are in the US, Binance.com for people outside of the US. It's one of those that actually works with rocket fuel. So who's rocket fuel? If you go into the ecosystem, as we would see when we go into the demonstration, and you choose to pay by crypto, then the next tab that comes up will be pay 143 or pay 240, whatever the amount you're paying through rocket fuel. So rocket fuel is the crypto third-party processor that OnPassive is using, and they're the ones that connect to the blockchain to be able to communicate with some of these other companies we choose to use. So Binance, I have found out that they're good for paying into OnPassive, but they would not accept, for example, US dollars transferred from a US bank account or from any bank account into Binance. Not at the moment. They used to do that, but at the moment, if you go in there, they'll tell you that you cannot actually put cash into it. However, you can actually fund your wallet by other means, as we'll touch on in a bit. Kraken, I think one of, I don't know, it was Martin Digamo or somebody had actually, Martin Digamo had actually put like a video in the OnPassive back office to tell people how to use Kraken. I find it easy to use, and this one also works with our third-party payer, Rocket Fuel. It accepts cash deposits as well as debit cards for funding. So this one is a good one. Coinbase is probably one of the biggest crypto sites. The problem with it is that it is not actually aligned with our rocket fuel at the moment. So if you're using Coinbase, you will not be able to actually get your money to go and pay on passive with it. You actually get an error come up. But if you have funds in that in a Coinbase, which is quite a big and safe cryptocurrency site, you can transfer that money to Kraken or Binance and use for payment. Another one is the Trust Wallet. I personally have not used it, but I know of people who have used it for their payments. And again, it can allow you to fund it with cash or with debit cards or transferring money from other accounts. I know there's PayPal, which people also say they have used. There's Robinhood that some people have used, as well as, I believe, Cash App. Any of those money transfer systems that also have the capability of doing crypto. My understanding is that some people have used those ones to pay with crypto into OnPassive. So once you have decided on which of these to choose, again, I'm not advertising any of them, you need to actually set up your account. And part of that setting up of the account means you create your profile, create your email, and then you'll need to do a KYC, know your customer, or verify yourself. They typically would ask for either for government issued ID cards like driver's licenses, passports, or other forms of identification. And in addition to the ID that they will ask you for both the back and the front, some of them will actually require you to take a picture of yourself to authenticate that you are the one. Once you do that, some of them would immediately authenticate you. Some will probably tell you that within 24 hours or some time period, you will receive an email telling you that you're good to go. The other thing that you will require for most of them would be the two-factor authentication or 2FA, as I've put there, using either your email, your phone number, or the Google or Microsoft authenticators that many of us should have on our phones, and they will give a code that you need to then enter just to make sure that your money is safe. Once you have completed the authentication and your account is active, then you're in business. The first step, obviously, is to get funds into that wallet so you can use for either purchasing your products or sending the money to other people or whatever you want to do with those funds. You need to be able to fund that wallet. Funding it could be by using your debit card, by wire transfers, using direct deposits from your bank account, using transfers from other wallets, whatever mechanism that they allow, you can actually fund your wallet with the necessary or the required funds using all these various options. The one thing I want you to really know is that depending on which wallet you choose to use, the funds may or may not be available for you to use immediately. If you do wire transfers, say here in the United States, you will have those funds available for you to start using, say, the next day. If you do bank transfers, the money will show up in your wallet. You can actually use it to buy crypto or to transfer, to exchange it from cash to some cryptocurrency, but you cannot use those cryptocurrencies or that cash for any transactions for a number of days. I learned this one the hard way, not the hard way, but I did not realize it took that long because I had typically used Coinbase and Binance, and those ones would hold your funds for about 5 days. And what I then realized was when I switched over to Kraken, I transferred funds into my account. The funds came out of my bank account almost immediately. They showed up in the wallet, but then I could do nothing to those funds with those funds for a week. And after a week, I actually managed to call the customer service, and they told me that the funds will be held for 10 business days before I can use them. So while transferring using like the bank transfers is free, you have to plan appropriately. Wire transfers, you pay for them. You have to complete the wire transfer form, take to your bank, but then the funds are available the next day. So just something to be aware of. And then the next thing is obviously paying for using those funds in those accounts to pay for your unpassive accounts. And I started by mentioning that Rocket Fuel is our third-party processor. When we go in there and we look at it, you see that it actually has options for you to pay with different types of cryptocurrency. And when you select the cryptocurrency that you want to pay, it is absolutely critical that you make sure that you are selecting the currency and picking the right network to do the transfer. We would go through an example, we'll look at it, because if you pick say Bitcoin and you send it through the Ethereum network, assuming that the systems themselves don't check it for you, you could lose your money permanently. So that's something that I want to really stress a lot, because not getting your address correct or not getting the network that you're sending those funds to will result in your funds going to the wrong address. The good news is that when you do those transactions, you always have confirmation emails to tell you that that transaction is complete, and then you can go ahead and check to see whether that payment has come out of your account. One thing when we go through again is to make sure that when you have made that payment, there is a processing time. Some of them can take up to 24 hours or more. So make sure that you don't double pay. Otherwise, you will end up with a lot of money sitting in your funding wallet when you would have used it for other purposes. That's a very high level overview of the steps that we're going to take. But what I want to do is really that I want us to log into our ecosystem, log into one of these platforms and do an actual payment. I will pause here, and when we're off YouTube, we would come back and really run an example. If people have questions, we can then answer the questions at that point. So let me pause and hand you back over to Queen Debbie.
Thank you, Brother John. Thank you, Brother Dr. John. Gee, sometimes I mess up the titles. It's for good reason. I appreciate that. All right, at this stage, we want to say thank you. Oh, only Queen Lerato Shadare has a right to do so because her name is always messing a lot of people up, and not so I have to claim that back. Thank you for even attempting. So at this stage, we want to say thank you to our YouTube viewers. We appreciate you joining us today. Please do not forget to log in again, same time on Thursday as well as next week, Tuesday, on Deep Dive. And the other forums that we are on is Dream Team on Sunday, 12:45 EDT, and Engineer Mike Mondays and Fridays, 10 p.m. EDT. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you on Deep Dive, Dream Team, and Engineer Mike Live.